Hi, I'm Brianna Smart, and today we're going to be discussing work-life boundaries. Imagine this. Imagine a world where your living room and your work office were combined, and the lines in between that were blurred. Where the ping of a work email interrupts your family dinner. This is the reality for many, but not all. Let's explore how a leader, Dan Secco, navigates this challenging life. Today we're going to dive into the overview, which is to discuss work-life management, introduce Dan, who is the Chief Financial Officer for Argonaut, and we're going to explore his strategies for maintaining harmony between his professional and personal life. Boundary management. What is that? Boundary management involves defining where work ends and where your personal life begins. From a quoted site, Kramer and Basil, 2017. People are usually segmenters, which means they like to keep both these different worlds separate. And others are integrators, which means they blend the two. So maybe grabbing a casual drink with a friend after dinner or going to watch the game. There are some, though, who adapt to both. This is essential for a smooth transition in both lives and to really just help your overall well-being. So now introducing Dan. Dan is the Chief Financial Officer at Argonaut. He loves his family life. He loves spending time with his family and his friends and just really making time for them, as he thinks it's very important for his well-being as well as colleagues. Dan likes to balance high demands with the importance of personal life. His work theme emphasizes strategic planning and efficiency at work to ensure a really close presence between personal and family activities. His communication behaviors are really just his boundary preferences. Dan uses a mixed approach of segmenting and integrating. He understands that he has to be accessible when work needs him, but he also understands he has to set clear boundaries to have his own time. His policies to really enforce this consist of no emails past 5 unless urgent and no emails over the weekend. He says, think of it as I don't have a phone on the weekends because I will not respond unless it is very urgent. Now, there's advantages to this, but there's also disadvantages. And what I mean by this is when speaking to Dan, we talked about that this strategies for the advantage side, it boosts team morale, productivity, and well-being, because when you're older, you don't really get a spring break, you don't get a fall break, you have to ask and approve time off. Now, he says that that's really awesome, it's part of being an adult. However, when it's the weekend, that is your break, and it's the only one you get, so you need to be very definitive of when you want to talk and when you can't. You just have to set that boundary. Now, one of the disadvantages of this is that it may challenge traditional work cultures that are always on. And what you can really run into is if you're not in a higher position, then you don't really have any right to say that right out of the gate. So what Dan suggests is basically showing them you're a hard worker, showing them who you are, get comfortable with everyone, and then set your boundaries. Now, today we've explored the essential work-life boundary and management through Dan Secco, and we've seen successful navigation of work-life boundaries in his personal life. Some key takeaways and what I want everyone to walk away with after this presentation today, and some tips, are to practice clear communication, setting expectations of your availability, and to show both firmness and flexibility in your boundary setting, especially if you're newer and just graduating your college. Maybe don't walk in and be like, don't text me after 5, but be really hardworking, understanding, and then once you make that connection with someone, then say, I value time after work, and I think it's very important to be available to you. However, when it does hit 5, I will be with family or friends. and just make that clear connection and that communication. Now, some interesting findings from this overall interview I found were the positive effect it had on Dan's team and productivity. He says that after the weekend, everyone comes back really rejuvenated, and they just seem so joyful, and they're close enough on his team to talk about a little bit what they did, but some people, he says, don't share, and that's completely fine, because that just means they don't integrate both. Another interesting finding I found was when he uses work-life boundaries, he seems to be more happy at dinner because he can talk to his wife uninterrupted without saying, hey, I have to take this call, I'm so sorry, because that lets her down and it makes him feel bad. So with these boundaries he's started to set in place within the past 2 years, it's just really seen high heights. And I love that. Once again, I want you all to take this away. Practice, start with friends and family, and good luck setting your work-life boundaries. Thank you very much for listening today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.